ॐ भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्टुवागुंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु ॐ शान्तिः 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 हरिः ॐ।
Dear friends, welcome back to the study of the Mundaka Upanishad, and we have completed the study of the first Mundaka, that's the first section of this Upanishad. There are two more sections left, and each section has two different chapters. So, having completed the first section, we started the first chapter of the second section. The main theme of these 10 shlokas, 10 verses, is to instill upon us the concept that the whole cosmos is nothing else but the manifestation of the divine. This is the main theme. But this Upanishad was recited or written down several thousand years ago, when our civilization or habitation was deep in the forest. There was no so-called industrial development or no so-called structured society as we find today. They have a social structure, but that was on a different pattern. So when in this study of the 10 shlokas, the Upanishad tries to impress upon us the idea that there is not a speck of space or an iota of time where he is not. So the ideas that they give to us really is extremely archaic for our point of view, very obsolete, because it doesn't relate to our day-to-day sense of value or sense of thinking. But if you look deep into it, the modern science and their concepts do have a common meeting ground. So instead of trying to explain it to you according to that archaic concept few thousand years ago, I will try to place before you those archaic concepts as we find in the text. At the same time, I'll give you a catch, a lead, to see how you can relate it with the present day scientific theories and ideas. We had studied the first 3 shlokas in great detail. Those 3 shlokas say, the first shloka gives you an idea. What is that? He gives you an example of a blazing, burning fire. If you stoke the timber or the fuel, you will find thousands and thousands of sparks coming out and flying away. They are carried by wind and they fly away. That is an example. What is it exemplifying? What is he trying to drive home? That look, blazing fire has its own form, its own shape, its own quantity of effulgence, capacity to burn, blazing fire. And when you stoke that fire, thousands and thousands of different sparks come out of that fire. That is an example. What is being highlighted? That blazing fire may assume such a proportion that that blazing fire can burn away habitation in a twinkling of an eye, where the sparks qualitatively they are fires, but they do not have that capacity, that voluminous capacity to burn a township. It can make a hole in your shirt sleeve. But they are fire. You can't deny that it is a fire. So what he is trying to draw our attention to, that one is a huge blazing fire with limitless capacity to burn and limitless capacity of effulgence. Sometimes it is so blazing and glaring you can't look at it even. Whereas spark is a fire, but its capacity to burn is microscopically small, and its effulgence and luminosity is very soft and nice on your eyes. They are fires. The highlight is, qualitatively, they are the same. Quantitatively, they are different. The way of looking at it is, this whole cosmos is a manifestation of that absolute. And we all are the individuals limited by a name, limited by a form, shape, size, limited by qualities, and limited by our utility and value in the society. We are only sparks of that blazing fire, but qualitatively, we are fire. We have studied this in great detail. I want to refresh your memory that this is what one of the concepts. What does it mean? It means whom I know as Lord God of the universe. Call it by any name. Holy Ghost, the Spirit, the Atman, the Brahman, the Sunyam, the Torah, the Tao. Call it by any name. We are not bothered. That absolute entity is permeating, is saturating, pervading this whole cosmos that we can conceive of. He is everywhere. And as because I am a part and parcel of this cosmos, he is in me also. That's a catch. Catch to meditate. He who is the creator, preserver, and the destroyer, or the mastermind of change, that entity who permeates the whole cosmos, that entity is in me also, whom I know as I am. I am qualitatively one with that blazing fire. Quantitatively, I am microscopically small and he is macroscopically huge, immeasurably huge. So that is one of the methods the Upanishad teaches you, how to meditate on yourself. I am, to start with, a microscopic fraction of that who is the creator, preserver, destroyer of the world. And more I get rid of my limitations of name and form and qualities and utilitarian value, more and more I am concentrating on the quality of my amness, which is one with that. This is how the second chapter, the first chapter of the second Mundaka starts. Now he has said so in the first shloka. He has to relate it with myself. Always remember, the equation is thou art that. Tat tvam asi. Tat is that. Tvam is you. Asi is the same. Thou art that. In a prosaic English manner, that is how it has been translated. Tat tvam asi. Thou art that. This is the essence. How do I convince myself that I am one with my Maker? The Maker has said, I have created man in my own image. God says so. And he says the purpose of human life is to find their way back to the Maker in heaven so that they can enjoy eternal life in paradise. These are the words of Son of God, an incarnation of God. The Upanishads say, thou art that. You are suffering from a tremendous amount of mistaken identity. You are identifying yourself, which is not your true original nature. But the error of judgment and mistake is so deep, you refuse to admit, I am that. You always say, I am this, which you are not. So, the Upanishad feels that they should speak in a language that you can relate yourself with that absolute. Only saying, and I imagine there the matter ends. No, you must develop an emotional relationship, interaction based on rock solid, crystal clear conviction. So the second shloka tries to divulge it, try to spread that idea to you in a bit another form. He says, the second shloka, etas dibyo hi amurta purushaha sabhajya abhyantara ajaha aprana amana shubhra aksharat parataha para. What does it mean? That person whom you know as I am, who resides in this body, Purusha, Divya, Dyotanavan, effulgent. What is effulgence? I am aware. I am aware I am. I am aware the world is, and I am aware there's endless diversity in this world. My awareness is not compromised. It is always paramount, and I keep on saying, I know, I feel, I experience. I know rationally, I feel emotionally, and I experience. I am. Who is that I? Whom you think resides in this body? He is Divya, effulgent. Effulgent here means light is being compared with awareness, consciousness. Amurta, it has no form. Why? Form is nothing else but a concept known as space confined in a border. That is murti. That is form. Space is everywhere. Everywhere it is space, and I occupy that space with this profile. He cannot be cut into a space, a shape or a size or a form. He is everywhere. He permeates everywhere. From space point of view, it is infinite. From time point of view, he is eternal. Divya, Amurta, but Purusha. He who resides in this body is Purusha. Purishayanat Purusha. He who resides in this body. This is its true original nature. Both in me and outside me. Awareness is here. Awareness is everywhere. I am that awareness, Sat, Chit, Ananda Swarup Atma. Satta is existence and Chetana is awareness. I am aware, I exist. I am aware, he is. And where is he to be found? Not up in cloud 9. He is to be found deep down within me. From the concept of time, he is ajaha, that is, he is birthless. Time does not space him. He was born on such and such a time, he died on such and such a time. No, time has no hold on him. Divya Amurta Savajya Abhyantara Ajaha. He is Purusha. He is in you. Don't look out here and there. It is here itself. Aprana. He doesn't have a body which is life force. Prana is life force. No. Amana. He does not have a mind like yours. Shubhra. It is absolutely untainted, pure. And it is beyond the concept of immutability. Beyond that. Aksharat parataha para. What does it mean, dear? Let me give you an example. A pod of clay, very soft, very well made into a dough, ready for the potter's wheel, for the potter to create. That pot of clay has its own size. A pot of clay, a spherical ball of clay. But in that spherical ball of clay, with the potter's intelligence, potter's capacity to imagine, the potter's capacity to play with his fingers, to give it a size or shape and make it available to you with some utilitarian value. All that is nascent in that pot of clay. Pot of clay is the unmanifested form, a cup, a plate, a glass, a jar, a huge pitcher. All that name and form and etc., comes out from that immutable pot. But what about the isness of that pot of clay? It is everywhere. Aksharat parataha. Para means, if you look at the world, it boils down to 5 elements: earth, water, fire, air, ether. Kshiti, up, tej, marud, bhau. Millions and millions of permutation and combination of various percentages of 5 elements creates the material world. But those 5 left to themselves are immutable. When they mix up, they produce. In them, the diverse, infinite diversity is nascent. It is immutable and it is made mutated. But the isness of the pot is always there. Aksharat, parataha, paraha. And the other example that I gave you, this is from the Upanishads, Bacharam manam vikara namadeyam anritam mrittika iti eva sattam. What does it mean? Mrittika, pot of clay. That is a pot of clay which has nothing, but potentially with the intelligence of the potter, thousands and thousands of different elements could be made out of it. So, Akshara, this is Akshara, the pot of clay. From that, thousands of diversities can be made. But the pot of clay itself is nothing else but isness. The rest is the 5 matters, 5 basic elements: earth, water, fire, air, ether. He is beyond that. And where is he to be found? Within you, Purusha, who resides within you. This is how he explains the omnipresence, omniscient of the divine, omnipotence of the divine. Then he goes further. We have studied this shloka before also. Today I may take a little time to complete this section, because this section is nothing else but, apart from the last section, we don't have much of a philosophy to discuss. Etasma jayate pranaha mana sarva indriyani cha kham vayu jyotirapa prithvi vishwasya dharini. From that absolute, all this has come up. And now, how do we understand? Is there any example in our lifetime that we can say, yes, from nothing, all this has happened and goes back to nothing? Is there any example? Yes, it is in your own experience the example is there. After a whole day's hard work, you go to sleep. You do not know at what time you start dreaming. And in this dream, you have gone thousands and thousands miles away to meet a friend or a relation of yours, and you are having a cushy time. While you are dreaming, it is absolutely real. When is that dream proved to be unreal? You wake up and you find, oh dear me, I'm in my bedroom, on my bed, and it has 5 hours have passed, and all those 5 hours I had created a world of my own self. And that creation, while I was dreaming, was so real that I lived with that reality. When do I say it is not real? When do I say it is imaginary? I only say so when I wake up and I compare my present state of awareness with the dream state of awareness. I say, oh dear me, it is all unreal. It is a dream. And again, this person is living in this world, interacting in this world with his body-mind complex, prana, mana, buddhi, with life force, with mind, and with intelligence. He is living and interacting in this world. This is real. This person, with dedicated, devoted, disciplined, determined practice, this person can reach that state known as Nirvikalpa Samadhi. What happens? He finds himself the true, real, original nature. I am Atma Brahma, Aham Brahmasmi. At that time, this reality of our Jagrat Avastha, our wakeful state, does not exist. It has disappeared. That is the ultimate reality. So Shapna, the dream, Jagrata, the living state, and Samadhi, up there. Then this world, this life, appears to be a dream. God willing, you don't come back again. God willing, you come back again to teach people there's that level of awareness which is Ananda Ghana Swarupa, which is eternal bliss, immeasurable, infinite, eternal bliss. Would you like to go there? This is what the Upanishad is saying. Etasmat, from that absolute comes out prana, mana, life force, mind, and sarva indriyani, 5 sense organs, 5 active organs, sarva indriyani cha. Kam vayu jyoti rapa, prithvi vishwasya dharini. That is earth, water, fire, air, ether. And this world is nothing else but an infinite permutation, combination of this matter, but consciousness and awareness is underlying the whole cosmos. All this is being said to give you a concept of oneness with that divine. The diversity is, but diversity is not everlasting real. Reality is your true original nature. The Holy Ghost, the Spirit, the Atman, the Brahman, the Sunyam, call it by any name. The Vedantists don't quarrel, each according to their own capacity, according to their ability. Now we start the 4th shloka. I am used to conceive human beings in human form. I'm used to. Whatever you're telling me in the Upanishad, Rishi Angirasha, it is all abstraction. Can you give me a vague idea as how can I conceive that human form which is infinite in dimension? Could you help me to conceive that absolute, to conceive that infinity in a human finite form? So why not? You want to conceive it that way? Conceive the sky. You see, it is like a dome. And there's infinite play of energy in the atmosphere. Conceive that sky with infinite energy at play as a skull of that superhuman. Agnira Murdha. Your brain is the source of all energy and imagination. Use it. That sky, that dome, the sky is his head. And all source of energy, Agni is energy there. Chakshushi Chandra Surya. Chandra is the moon, Surya is the sun. You have two eyes, the sun and the moon are his eyes. Disha Srotre, you hear. Air brings in air waves to your ears. Disha Srotre, and air is everywhere, all on 10 sides. Disha, sides. He is spread everywhere. Ears are everywhere. Bak Bibitascha Veda. All the words that you find expressed in the Vedic literature, that is his voice. That is his speech. Hridayam Prag Disha Srotre Bhag Vividasya Vayu Prana. The air is his life force which you breathe, inhale and exhale. And Hridayam Vishwamasya. His heart creates this diversity as you create your diversity in dream. He creates his diversity and you think it is real. Padbham Prithivi Hi Esha Sarvabhuta Antaratma. Underline the last word, Sarvabhuta Antaratma. This is the concept of Virat Purusha. The sky is his body, his sky is his head, and the source of energy. And from that, everything has happened. He is a huge being. And I am in him. And he is, having created that, Tat Srishtva Tad Eva Anupravishata. Having created this world, he permeated, saturated the whole world with his own being. He is everywhere. He is Sarva Bhuta. Sarva is every, no exception. Bhuta is manifestation, grossest to the subtlest. Antara Atma, he is the essence of everything. You see now, he's being described the way we can understand, but he doesn't forget to remind you, he is the essence of everything. So we will move on a little quickly. Tasmat Agni Samidho Jasya Surya Somat Parjanna Oshadaya Pritibhyam Puman reta sinchati joshitayam bahvi proja purushat samprashuta. The whole cosmos has come out of him. And he describes the cosmic energy manifests in a particular form of energy. What is that? The solar energy. This is a very old-time conception. I'm telling you in a language that we can understand. We say that our Mother Earth has a source of energy which comes from the sun. That is the basic energy. That energy evaporates water from the oceans, heat of the sun. It becomes cloud. And that cloud becomes heavily laden with moisture, and it transforms itself into rain. Rain falls on the Mother Earth, and that is how everything grows on this earth and goes back to it. And this is the concrete state known as the Mother Earth. Right from the absolute, abstract, cosmic energy with these 5 different avenues, the creation system, the cycle of creation, preservation, and destruction takes place. Pancha Agni Vidya. 5 different sources of same energy. One cosmic energy has 5 different avenues, and the whole cosmos moves along, including procreation, whether biological or botanical, whatever it may be. This is how this shloka has to be understood. Tasmat Agni Samidha Jasya Surya Somat Parjanna is cloud. Oshada Prithibhyam, it falls on this earth and it creates life. And then the process of creation takes place, and all that happens from that eternal existing Purusha, source of all life, all energy, all creation. Tasmacha Shama Jajunshi Diksha Jagyasya Sarve Kratavo Dakshinasya Samvatsarasya Jajamanasya Loka Shoma Jatra Pavate Jatra Surya. This is how he says the whole cycle of weather. In tropical countries, we have 6 different weathers. In the other areas of the globe, we have 4 different weathers. And in the Arctic and Antarctic region, either summer or winter. All that cycle which we find in nature comes out from that eternal being. Next is Tasmacha Deva Bahuda Samprasuta Sadhya Manusya Pashabo Bhayanshi. Well, let us understand what it is. Tasmat, from that, all that has come out, Samprasuta, it has emanated from them. What has emanated from them? The eternal principles of nature. Don't say they didn't have a scientific orientation which tallies with the present day science. Tasmat cha deva bahudha samprasuta. Deva means that which is effulgent. Now, what is effulgent? Deva, the principles of nature the principle of light, principle of sound, principle of electricity and magnetism, principles of gravitation. They are all principles of nature. And the nature do not violate those principles. Those principles are nomenclatured as Jyotanavan Deva. They are effulgent, they are perceptible, they are experienceable, they are cognizable. You can cognize them. They are the Devas. We only see Ganapati is a Deva, Kartika is a Deva, but they represent certain principles, morals, ethics, and principles and laws of nature. All that has come out of it. Manusha, Sadhya, Pashavo, Bhayansi. Manusha, we, Sadhya, that great, they're better specimen of human being who have evolved themselves. Pashavo, the creatures, the animals. Vayansi, the winged creatures, the birds. All that has come out of it. Prana, apana, the inhalation and the exhalation. Pashavo, Brihi, Java, Tapasya, Brihi and Java, Bardi and others, which are our cereals. They all come out of that. The name is different, the form is different, the qualities are different, utilitarian values are different, but in principle, it has come out of that and that alone. We move on. Sapta prana prabhavanti tasmat. 7 levels of prana. Prana is energy. 7 levels of awareness. This has been developed in the yoga philosophy, in the Sankhya philosophy and yoga philosophy. What is it there? Let us be clear about it in a passing way. When we study the Patanjali Yoga Sutra, we will pay greater attention. It is said, human level of consciousness, human level of awareness has 7 different levels of awareness. 3 lower levels, 3 upper levels, and a central level. Now we know it is the central nervous system which is the cause of all our awareness. And where does the central nervous system originate and go? It originates in the brain, and through the spines, in the hollow of the spinal cord comes down right up to the bottom of the spine, the bone known as coccyx. It has been medically proved by neurologists there are certain areas where there are knots, ganglion of nerves, and the nerves move out of that place. As for instance, there is a ganglion there near the neck, from where certain nerves move out to control the movement of your hand and body. Then there's a ganglion here, near the heart, the source of your emotion. It goes down where your navel is, all in the spine. There are 7, they call it chakras or bhumis, levels. When a human mind is at the bottommost level of awareness, full of carnal desires, and almost like an unenlightened beast, your level of awareness roams within the 3 lowermost levels, Muladhara, Swadhisthana, Manipura. They are the chakras, the knots, the ganglion in the spine. Your mind and your energy and yourself, you have gone down to that level. Then you find that sometimes you are in a very, very elated, noble mood. You think of so many good things. You think of God, think of your duty as an enlightened biological creature. You behave like a well-educated, enlightened human being. Then your level of awareness comes to your heart. It is known as Anahata Chakra. Then you go a little further. You want to hear of discussions about God and those subjects which will lead you to eternal life. You are no more interested in anything of the world but that goal. It is in Vishuddha Chakra, in between your two clavicles, collarbones here, right behind. And the next is the Agya Chakra, in between the brows, in the brain. And the final is the Shaptabhumi, the topmost of the head. These are the 7 levels. He is mentioning that here. He says, Sapta prana prabhavanti tasmat. All that level of awareness that you imagine and the 7 levels of awareness, the bhumis and the chakras, all these concepts, principles, all these concepts that you humans are dabbling with, playing with, researching with, they have all come out of that eternal entity. Shapta Chasachi Shamida Shapta Homa. There are 7 types of yagas, yajnas, etc., with 7 different elements put into that to create that cycle. All that has come out of this. Guha Shaya Nihitam Shapta Shapta. All that is in the cave of your heart. Relating yourself with that cosmic entity. So these are very ancient concepts. We say it is obsolete, but if we look into it with a little understanding without just throwing it out as obsolete and archaic, we will find that in those days, the rishis, by their own introspection, developed that penetrative capacity to see through the mysteries of nature. And that is how they have described it. The method of description may be different, but the idea behind is eternally true. All the diversities that you see here, they have come up from that eternal, infinite, immutable entity. Where is he to be found? Where is he to be found? Where is he to be found? He is to be found in the core of your own being. Your true original nature is he. What you think as I am, a different entity, is a product of misconception, misunderstanding, misnomer. So let us move on there. I would like to complete this chapter today. Maybe I take a few more years, few more days, minutes. Ata samudra girascha sarve. Asmat sannate sindhava sarvarupa. Atasya sarva oshadaya rasasya jena esha bhutai tishtate hi antaratma. He is now coming to the conclusion. This is the 9th shloka, 10th is the last. Let us read this shloka also. Ata Samudra, the oceans, immeasurable, huge quantity of water. Where did it come from? Who made it? How did it happen to be there? It has come out of that eternal existence. Ata Samudra, Giraya, Giri is mountains. He's now paying attention to geographical entities. The ocean, the mountains, all that you found, they are all there. The rivers and the plains, everything has emanated from that. Atasya sarva oshadaya rasasya. All the herbs and the plants and etc., etc., etc. Limitless, infinite diversity. They have all emanated from that absolute. Jena esha bhutai tishthate hi antaratma. That is the core of my being. Sarvabhuta antaratma, he has said. Here says, he means binyogi. Have no doubt there, dear. It is the fact of life. Thou art that. He is in you. Don't forget that ever. So all these shlokas have one purpose. Though it has expressed itself in various manner, but it is one purpose. What is that purpose? Purpose is I am aware I am. Just because I am aware I am, my awareness spreads out and I say the whole cosmos is. I am and the whole cosmos is. That is all right. But how do I relate myself, which I see separated from me? How do I relate myself with that? The relation is, that is your true original nature. Be convinced about that by listening to words of God, the wisdom of God which has emanated to the rishis, and the rishis are passing it on to you. Don't question the wisdom of God. You may be very wise, you may be very intelligent. Use it properly and correctly, not questioning the existence of the divine, by utilizing your awareness to find out the relation between you and the so-called divine. This is the main theme, and this is how he now concludes. Let me read this shloka also and take a few more minutes of yours. Purusham eva idam vishyam karma tapa brahma paramritam etat jo veda nihitam guhayam so avidya granthim vikriyati iha shomya. Hey Shomya, he is now concluding this chapter. Hey Shomya, who is a Shomya? A person who is totally collected, whose wits and all his capacities are totally under his control, and he is absolutely at peace with himself. No restlessness. If there is to be a restlessness, What type of restlessness is permitted? The restless to know, to be, and to become one with God. That restlessness is permitted. No other restlessness. So what is he saying now? Let us see the conclusion of this chapter. Purusha eva idam vishram. That's it. That he who resides in you is nothing else but this manifested world. Purusha eva idam vishram. Purusha is he who resides in you. Eve binyoge. Have no doubt this is the truth, the reality, the conviction. Eva. That reality has manifested itself in this infinitely diverse Vishram, the world. Purusha eva binyoge, without any doubt, without any hesitancy, rock solid, crystal clear conviction. Idam Vishram, that who resides in you, that eternal entity being, he has manifested himself in this world. And then he gives you a concept. What do you mean by the word? Karma tapa paramritam brahma. That Purusha is also known as Brahman. Now, dear, grammatically, please kindly understand. When you look at yourself subjectively, when you look at it yourself subjectively, I am, then that I am in its ultimate reality is Atman. Grammatically, linguistically, Atman. And that when you see as the essence of the cosmos, Brihat, endless expansion, then that thing is known as Brahman. So what does it mean? It means the change of perspective is being given an importance when you look at it subjectively. I am, then you are considering that reality as the word Atman in me. That eternal entity, infinite, eternal, not mutable, absolute, when I look at it as the essence of the cosmos, Brahman word comes from bring, brihat, but endless expansion. That is the concept of Brahman. I am Atma Brahma. That is the equation. When I look at myself, I know myself as Atman. And who is that Atman? That very Atman is ever existing in the world. And that is a sublime bliss. That awareness, that experience is of sublime bliss, paramritam. Etas jo Veda, a person having studied this Upanishad in its true spirit, in its true meaning, in its true practice, such a person, etas jo Veda. Veda has three different connotations. What is it? Knows it rationally, feels it emotionally, and experiences it intuitionally. 3 stages is Veda. Intellectual understanding, collating with your emotional feeling, oneness, and intuitionally this I merges with He. Etad Veda, how does he understand where? Nihitam guhayam. It is in the core of your being. It is within yourself. You say, I am. Wherever it may come out, that is where you say, I am, and He is in me, and I am in Him. Etat ja Veda nihitam guhayam. What happens to him after all this back-breaking discipline, hard work? What happens to him? Sir, that person, avidya granthim, knots and knots of ignorance which has bound me down, not allowing me to know my true original nature. That avidya granthim, iha, in this life of yours, bikirati, you have torn it asunder. You have become one with your Maker. You have established the formula, I am Atma Brahma, rationally and emotionally, and intuitionally in your Samadhi, Aham Brahmasmi. The last 2 lines of this shloka, last shloka of the chapter, is extremely important for a practitioner. Etat, in this manner, yo Veda, who understands it rationally, emotionally, and intuitionally. That whole thing is not represented by the word Veda. That means in totality of your personality. Who can know that rationally, emotionally, intuitionally? To him, the knots of ignorance in which he has been bound down so long, all those knots will tear away, will disappear, and he will be established in the majesty, magnificence, excellence of his own true being. I am Atma Brahma. That will happen to him. Dears, with this chapter, I would say the important philosophical aspect of how to approach this world, my life and living, without being lazy. You with your determination, devotion, dedication, and a self-disciplined manner, you marshal the energy that you have within yourself and divert that energy to get rid of the bonds of ignorance. What is ignorance? Misconception of yourself. You will get rid of it and you will be poised in the majesty and excellence of your own true original nature. Sorry, dears, I took a little more time today, but I'll tell you why. This Christmas season, I would like to have a break. I would like to, like a truant student, run away from school. So we meet again here on the first Saturday after 26th of January, the official spirit of the holiday mood of this country, before the Christmas up to the 26th of January, the day, the national holiday. The first Saturday after 26th of January, we meet again to continue the study of this Mundaka Upanishad. That is the second chapter of the second Mundaka. Thank you, dears. Thank you ever so much. Thank you for your patience and your understanding. May God bless us all. Thank you.
Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanam